It's this whole, it's just like, I keep looking out at this whole audience and thinking, I wonder if they understand how important to hold that vision and to trust in it and to know that you're going to be guided. Where's Lynette? Where are you, sweetheart? Come up here. Do we have a mic? Nancy, do you have a mic? Can I use a mic for something? Can I put her on a mic? Is that okay? Come on up here, Lynette. This is someone I met yesterday. Stalker. Somebody will take your picture, don't worry. Try to imagine this is not about you.
Here. But come up here when you're...
Come on up here, sweetheart. Yeah.
There's a stairs over there.
Thank you.
And hold it real close when you talk.
Okay.
Here, you can sit on my table.
I don't know about that, Wayne.
That's okay. Go ahead, you can go for it. Wait a minute, let me look around. Yeah, you can sit on it. Okay. Okay, Lynette, just, you have about 2 minutes or 3 minutes. Tell them what happened yesterday, what you read to me, and how, and how this universal force was working yesterday, this force that I'm speaking about here. Then I'll read you this, and then we'll take a lunch break.
The first 30 seconds has to go back beyond yesterday, though. I wrote Wayne a letter years ago because I felt that he inspired my life and people through me, and pretty much was the inspiration for my business. I'm a public speaker, or professional speaker now, and a coach and so forth. So I wrote him a letter thinking, he probably gets millions of them, but you know what? He deserves to hear a thank you. So I sent the letter, and I got a personal letter back within 2 weeks, handwritten, and then a signed book, and then something else a few weeks later. And so this has become my role model, whether he knew it or not. I met him in Philadelphia very briefly and thanked him, and that was years ago. So since then, I have pretty much written my own book and wrote a chapter about Wayne. And interestingly, my speaking business was at its best last year, best year I've ever had. But for whatever reason, everything dried up in November, and income stopped coming in. My only son, left and moved down here to Fort Lauderdale in September, and my business dried up. And I could no longer make my mortgage payments. And everything I had last year was gone this year. And I knew that was because I had to write. So that was the sign, write. So I almost finished the book, and someone told me about a Hay House contest and a workshop, and when I found out the price, I said, I can't do it, I don't have the 500. But another person called and said, you've got to go to this workshop, because I know you have a book, and it's a very Hay House-like type book. So when the second person said it, I said, all right, I'm going to look into this. And when I went online and found out that there were 3 Hay House workshops, and that there was one in Fort Lauderdale, I fell to pieces, because my son lived in Fort Lauderdale, and I didn't have the money to visit him. So I'm thinking, well, this is a sign, I have to go. When I found out that Wayne was going to be in Fort Lauderdale, and not Denver, and not Colorado, I said, all right, I'm meant to be in Fort Lauderdale. I know I'm supposed to be there. The only thing I need now is the $500 to show itself, along with the mortgage payments that I'm late on and the airfare and all that. But I wanted 500 because I knew that would tell me that this was real. So I wrote a letter to God. This is 3 months ago. I wrote a letter to God. I said, listen, I believe I'm supposed to be in Fort Lauderdale in May. For every reason that Wayne's going to be there, that my son just moved there, whatever, but I need the 500 to show itself. 2 days later, a colleague, a member of the National Speakers Association, and she's in the chapter that I'm in, she hands me an envelope. We're not even really that close. We're just colleagues. She hands me an envelope and said, don't ask any questions, and she walks away. There were 5 $100 bills in the envelope. So since then, everything has been about coming here. And the weird thing is, the closer I got to here, it was like the more the universe was, well, I don't want to say that. I was going to say the universe, something was preventing me from coming. It wasn't the universe. It wasn't my soul, but maybe it was part of me that was afraid. And the last week of my life has been one of the darkest nights of my soul. I moved out of my house. I rented my house to another family, and I'm renting a room. And my body was breaking down because of all the moving and carrying and lifting boxes. So when I arrived here a couple days from Florida, checked into my hotel, I didn't get out of bed for 2 days. My son came to see me with his girlfriend. We ate in the hotel room, and I was afraid I wasn't going to make it to the workshop because I was in so much pain. I went to sleep that night. I don't know if I told you this part. I had a dream that we were in the hospital together. that we were in the hospital and we were having, a one-on-one conversation. And I woke up and I was in so much pain. I had just agony in the hands from lifting so many boxes and something going on in the neck. And my mentor, my speaking mentor, sent me a text, and she knew nothing about all the pain I was in. I said, listen, I don't want to complain, but I'm in so much pain. But the one good thing is I had a dream last night that Wayne Dyer and I had one-on-one time. So that's a good sign. I was going to stay in my hotel room in bed all day yesterday because I was in so much pain, but they had to change the locks on our doors for whatever reason in the hotel. So it forced me to leave. And I went and I jumped on the sun trolley and said, just drop me off at a quiet beach. I just want to, someplace quiet. So the driver drives up the street, A1A, and said, there's a good place for you. And I sat there with a towel and my journal. And I wrote in my journal, which I have right here, I don't understand why I'm going through so much difficulty this year. I do believe there's a purpose to it. I believe that there is a God. But all I want out of this weekend is to go home, and for all the people that support me and who have helped me to get here, I want to be able to say to them that I had one-on-one time with Wayne Dyer and was able to tell him that I wrote an entire chapter of my book about him. I got up. That was it. I closed my journal. I went to one of those frozen yogurt places. I sat and ate a frozen yogurt, and I'm looking in the cup, and I look up, and I see this man in purple running shorts and black sneakers looking at his cell phone. And he was bald, so of course every bald man that went by I was checking out to see if it was... But he wasn't looking in my direction. He wasn't looking in my direction. I couldn't see his face. And so I'm thinking, is it him? Is it him? I'm not sure. And the funny thing is, because he stood there, and this is a good, 50 yards from where I am, the fact that he just stood there and kept looking, I knew it had to be him, even though I couldn't see his face. It was like God was saying, if you don't get up now, he's going to be gone, because he's going to start running again. So I threw the ice cream in the trash, grabbed my journal, and took off, and probably almost ran into traffic. And as soon as he started to move, like he was going to take a step and keep walking, I yelled his name. He looked at me, and I cried like a baby.
Because you can hold it. Because she showed me what she had written in her journal just a few minutes before, which was, I would like to have one-on-one time with Wayne Dyer, and I stood up. Now, the interesting thing about that is that it's the only time since I've been here that I walked that way. I started walking the other way towards sunrise. I was going to walk down to my secretary, and then I thought, no, for some reason I'm going to go back. I'm going to walk towards Las Olas, which is where she was at Las Olas. And the fact that I even walked in the afternoon, which I generally don't do in the sun, and then went one direction and went another, and then when I got there, and she just looked at me, and she almost collapsed, and she said, I had just asked that you be here, and there I was. So it's that intelligence, it's that thing that is working, and it's like, so thank you, Lynette. Let me just finish with this. Okay. Thank you, dear. Very nice. Thanks. Be careful stepping down.